You look really worried about this one.
I am.
Is it because you don't like it?
It's because it's not finished.
Time's up, and I'm really happy with the dish that I've put up. It's pretty much how I wanted it to look, definitely how I wanted it to taste, and I think I've met the brief today.
Oh! Absolutely shattered. I was in control the whole way through. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I left my prosciutto off the plate, and I didn't put my garden herb in, and I barely got the oil. There's just a drop on there. And now I'm like, oh, why? I know what's going to happen now.
Well, it's time for us to taste your dishes. Dishes that we hope will be number 1, delicious. Number 2, loaded with smoky flavours. Number 3, really heroing some of the ingredients that are in season in that garden at the moment. Up for grabs is the chance of cooking for immunity against a top chef. Slightly more worrying is the prospect of being in the bottom 3 and find yourself in a pressure test tomorrow. Should we start with tasting?
So, first one up is Sarah.
I've put a lot of myself into this dish. Cooking pork for me is such a joy, and I really hope that Ben and the judges have noticed that.
A coriander crusted pork with a smoked apple puree, smoked apple chips, and from the garden, crispy horseradish leaves and crispy herbs.
What do you reckon, Ben?
I'm excited to try it.
The way you've plated that up and the elements that you've put on the plate, the greens and that little smoky puree, I would not have thought of that.
Oh, thank you.
You really did a fantastic job on cooking the pork. This is how I like pork cooked. You know, it's kind of a medium rare.
Yep.
A lot of people would always cook it well done. You've made a really smart choice.
We've never had pork cooked that well, I don't think, by any contestant. Given your stated dream that you want to open up a restaurant bar that specialises in pork, this dish is the best advert you could ever put out there. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
They love not only the presentation, but how well that pork is cooked, and I am just so over the moon. I can't believe it.
Next up, you had the advantage in this challenge, Ray.
This morning I cooked well, and this afternoon it was just the opposite. I'm worried I've blown an advantage and I could be in the bottom 3.
So, Ray, what's the dish?
So the dish is craytail with smoked corn puree and a yamon broth.
Gee.
For me, the corn, it was an excellent part. But broth, it's a bit murky with its flavour.
And also, there's a perfect point where the crayfish is just right. And that's still a little raw, a little stringy, and that's not cooked enough.
I think you might be in trouble, Ray.
I've got a sinking feeling that I'm going to be in the bottom 3 unless 3 other people have stuffed up spectacularly today.
Aram.
It's a smoked duck breast with pickled fennel, a herb custard, and a burnt orange dressing.
It's just yummy. Herb custard using parsley from the garden. Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Samuel.
Hot smoked mackerel with horseradish, crispy potatoes and chard.
It's a really good dish of food in terms of coherence of flavour. Potatoes are crunchy. Love the smoked yoghurt.
Tamara.
A smoky herbed potato salad pani puri.
The smokiness for me probably wasn't prolific enough, especially in such a small, bite-sized sort of morsel.
Yeah.
Callan, it's your turn.
Crispy skin chicken with a smoked passion fruit caramel, pickled horseradish leaf as well.
Passion fruit, chicken, horseradish leaf. Massive tick on inventiveness.
Michelle.
smoked chocolate mousse, Greek yogurt jelly, thyme crumbs.
Texture of the mousse is good. You know, the idea of the crumbs are toasty and buttery.
Next up, Jess.
I'm definitely nervous in the back of my head. This dish is quite adventurous and creative. There's always a risk that I don't pull it off.
Oh my goodness.
I have made a dish that I've called My Garden, and it features a smoked lemon myrtle and white chocolate mousse with a kale and cucumber granita, a peach sauce.
You sound nervous.
I'm terrified.
I just think it looks absolutely fabulous.
Thank
We're
you.
excited. Huh?
Dig in, come on, Gaz.
Yeah, I know. I want Ben to jump in first.
I think it's the most inventive thing we've seen all day.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed eating it. I think you've done a fantastic job.
That's what you say. I think the invention test bit is the hardest bit. Being creative is a really hard thing to do, and that is so creative and so delicious. It's beautiful cooking.
Jess, well done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
It's a dream come true to be not just putting up good food, but great food to the judges, and to hear them say that about food that I've made.
Next up, Pete.
I'm not 100% happy with my cook. I'm worried there's not enough smoky flavours in my broth.
That's interesting.
Today I've got a smoked red emperor fillet and a smoked fishbone broth.
There's something I don't like about it, and I think it's the broth. I can't taste the smoke.
Like Gary, I'm a little challenged by the broth. Yeah, that kind of didn't move me, to be honest.
The broth should have a lovely smokiness, and it doesn't. It's certainly a dish you'd want to see you go back and rework and find a better way of doing it.
It needs loads of work, loads of work.
Thanks, guys.
The next dish we'd like to taste belongs to Eloise.
This dish is all about the things that I love. You know, whiskey paired with a dessert. My only disappointment is that I've only got 3 ice cream sandwiches and there are 4 people tasting.
Sharing is caring. I've made an ice cream sandwich, smoked chocolate and whiskey ice cream, rosemary and smoked butter shortbread, and also some roasted strawberries.
And what were the parts from the garden that you've used in this?
I used the rosemary in the shortbread and the strawberries as well.
Well, that's unexpected, isn't it?
Eloise, I recently took a trip to San Francisco where I ate an ice cream sandwich at Tartine Manufactory, one of the greatest bakeries in all the world. And this is every bit as good as that. This is absolutely fantastic. This is one of the absolute highlights for me today. You've really nailed it.
The chocolate kind of drifts away behind the whiskey and rose, which is the most inspired pairing. An adult stroke of decadence. Brilliant.
The smoke trail through the ingredients is lovely. The fact that you use smoked butter in the biscuit and rosemary is just inspired. And if they were in my freezer, I would have a massive problem keeping my hands off them.
Yeah. Eloise, wow.
Yeah, I
You're
agree.
rocking, man.
Absolutely amazing.
Well done, Eloise.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I'm in a state of shock. He's comparing my little ice cream sandwich with the best bakeries in the world. I don't really know how to feel, but I'm on top of the world.
Well done.
Next up, Pia.
My heart is just deflated.
You're not really worried about this one.
I am. And I know exactly what they're going to say.
What's the dish?
Smoked scallops with parsnip puree.
Yeah.
What's on there is the crumb with a little bit of the parsley oil.
That parsley came from the garden?
No.
Is there anything from the garden there?
No, it was staring at me in a bowl next to the plate, but not on that plate.
Gee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame that you forgot those things. I think the cooking of the scallop is excellent.
I really like the pasta puree. It's delicious. It's buttery. The scallop smoke, very subtle. It's just so frustrating when we watched you cook and you were so in control and so calm.
We can only judge what's on the plate. We do have to remind ourselves every so often. It doesn't matter what happens in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because as a diner, you don't know. You just sit there and eat it.
Prepare yourself, Pia.
I've got fear that has set in strongly now. I knew it.
Sam, your turn.
I'm so excited to have Ben taste my dish. Hope he loves it.
Ooh, that looks exciting.
It's my take on a rice pudding. So it's smoked rice ice cream, nutmeg milk skin, and some smoked apple chips.
Yum, 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 yum. Is that what we just do? Yeah.
It's so delicious. Beautiful combinations.
Mate, nailed the presentation. You nailed the flavours. It just puts a big smile on my face.
I really like it as well. The presentation is definitely the nicest presentation of the day. And I think overall it's really delicious.
Thank you, Ben.
Does that make you feel good?
Oh, it's
What
surreal.
Ben's telling you?
I never thought I'd be standing here, especially in front of Ben, and to get that feedback from one of my food idols is unbelievable.
Well, you deserve it, because what you've given us is something super creative, super delicious, and that's all we ask for.
Brilliant.
Well done, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Ben's my food hero, and he told me I've got presentation of the day, loves the dish, and I just couldn't be happier. What a moment.